Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
I got your message this morning about the tile, and we replaced the tile, and now we have vinyl plank flooring. But is it still, is that application because it's on, the subfloor, is that making it still too thick?
So you have a room, let's call it a mud room, whatever.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what the room
That's
is called.
what it is. Yep.
Okay. And in the center of that room, you have a hatch door that's probably 24 inches wide and 30 inches deep. And there's a rectangle cut in the floor and a very neatly manufactured door that fits into that opening. You put a rug over it, concealed. Very cool. So these concealed hinges, whether it be Sauce or McKinney or Sugatsuni or Tectus, they have we have the 10 commandments, but those hinges have the one commandment. And the one commandment in those hinges is that you can't exceed a particular dimension by Sauce called the E dimension. Where you position the hinge from the pull side surface, that dimension is called the E dimension. We can't exceed, depending on the hinge, either 9/32 of an inch or 8 millimeter or about 5/16.
Okay.
Because you can't mortise into the edge of the tile. We can't get the hinge close enough to the pull side of the door and to the surrounding floor. So that's where I had sent you an email saying I'd love to use that hinge basically, but we can't because I'm sure your tile's too thick. What's the actual thickness of the tile?
I just took a picture of it. Let me look at it. So we're talking about just the very top surface of the floor, not including the subfloor and the...
Well, just the tile thickness. So the question is how far do we have to go before we can mortise into something? So that would be like the top of the floor.
I don't know what mortise into something means, but I wish my guy was here right now. It looks like, well, my tape measure only has 1, 2, 3. It's like a 1/4 inch thick because it's a vinyl plank that has padding attached, so it's a little thicker than just the really thin stuff. I would say it's a 1/4 inch to 5/16.
So this is
how straight on I took my photo.
Yeah, this is unfortunately a dimension that is truly a commandment. We have to be utterly positive what that is, because if it exceeds what's permissible, you won't be able to fit it in. So I would suggest that
Should I send you a picture of this? I put the tape measure right on it.
Yeah, I mean,
of course, the whole construction industry, a 2x4 is not really 2x4. And so, when people are doing measurements, I'm like, what are you really talking about here? But I put the tape measure right on it and took a picture of it. And really, it's in between. At first, I thought it was exactly 1/4 inch. And then I thought, well, if I was going to be generous, I would say in between 1/4 and that 1/4 and 5/8.
So you said 5/8. That's
right.
5/16. One little line over.
Yes, excuse me. Yes, one little line over. One little line over 1/4.
Yeah. So there is a hinge on the market that is that will tolerate 8 millimeters. So 1 divided by 25.4 times 8, that is 0.314. So that is 5/16 basically. If we were able to stay within 5/16 of the top of the tile when you mortise this hinge in, you'd be able to fit this concealed hinge in.
Okay. I've watched too many videos now trying to figure this all out. Is that different than the cross hinge?
Cross?
I saw a cross hinge. I think that's what it was called. That's not what it's called. It was a hidden hinge and it looks like a little cross. Let's look it up here. I have it. See, yeah. Recently viewed. It was called a concealed cross hinge. It was
concealed
cross
hinge.
Yep, it was on
cross. Well, I mean, when I search concealed cross hinge, I come up with the Sauces, the Sugatsunis, the Tectisons,
oh, is that what?
the McKinneys
Okay.
of the world. Yes, that's the type of hinge we're discussing.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I don't see your search results, but when I search concealed cross hinge, it comes up with. I've never called those hinges concealed cross. I've never heard that before.
Okay.
It's a concealed hinge. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can see why they might call it a cross, I suppose, but.
Yeah, because when it's all folded up, it looks like a little cross or an X.
Yeah, when it's open, I would say it would look like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's when it's open. See, yeah. You know, I think what I had, like you said on your last email, I think what I used to have was on the old door, which was tile, not, you know, just lightweight vinyl planking. I think it was some kind of piano hinge, except it was not concealed. Is a piano hinge concealed where the hingy part is underneath? That doesn't make any sense. It couldn't be.
No, it wouldn't be underneath, but it would be in the gap between the surrounding floor and the edge of the door there. And you would have seen the knuckle, you know, when you pulled the rug back. You would have seen that very thin line of a knuckle there.
Okay, so
it would have been
of course
very
that's
obvious.
what I'm trying to avoid is having anything showing.
Yeah, so a couple of problems
maybe
I want to
not realistic for me.
Possibly, but it might work. Two concerns that I have. If the door was manufactured to allow a piano hinge, that gap might be pretty heavy because we only need 1/8 of an inch there between the floor and the door for this concealed cross hinge to work. That's number one.
Richard, when you say when the door was manufactured, are you talking about a store-bought door? Because my builder guy just framed it and built it himself.
So he manufactured the door himself in his
shop.
So
when you say manufactured, you're meaning, okay, I'm just...
Someone made it, whoever made it.
Someone made it, yes. Yeah. I just want to make sure I'm on the same language level here, which obviously I'm not. But
yeah, so when the fellow built that darn thing, he made it based on the hinge. So you might have a gap there that's a little heavier than needed. So that's number one. Number two, the thought initially occurred to me that if I stepped on that area with the ball of my foot, I'm concerned about some deflection, but then I discounted it thinking that was some sort of a ceramic tile. Now I know that it's a vinyl tile, so I am concerned about when you cut the edge of the door and the edge of the floor, that one could depress that area slightly because that vinyl tile is not going to support any weight because you're mortising underneath it. So that would be a concern.
It's pretty darn solid. I can't remember if I send you a picture of the door?
Yes, you sent about 7 pictures.
I did. Okay. And when it's set in there completely flat, there is not a lot of gap around the edges.
Yeah.
I mean, right now he's got it fit to. Well, you saw the picture.
That gap has to be quantified. You know, if it's 1/8 of an inch, then it's perfect. I'll say again though, I'm concerned about someone over time, you know, because that vinyl tile is sinking a little bit over that area. Should there be traffic exactly over those spaces?
Okay.
And there obviously will be.
Well, yeah, you have to walk into the room, and I'm always gonna, yeah. So a piano hinge will not be concealed.
Not really. I mean,
well, just so you called it the knuckle. The knuckle will always show, but will it be sticking up out of the floor?
No, it wouldn't have to stick up out of the floor at all because you're just lifting that to. I would install it so it was flush with the top of the floor.
Okay. All right.
So another thing to consider, that piano hinge, those are awfully inexpensive. I mean, they're dirt cheap. These other hinges that we're discussing are going to be a few $100s.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
That might be.
So, and how? I mean, the door it's still kind of hefty when you lift it up. A piano hinge, I thought it would be going. My old piano hinge was on the long edge of the trap door. This one is on the short edge, which is 30 inches, and that's what these piano hinges are, 30 inches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they support. If they work for everyone else, I'm sure they support the weight of that door. Do they have a weight?
They don't, but it will. Those hinges are used in lots of unusual applications.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I best go with that then.
So I wouldn't order anything until your installer saw it and had that person confirm that it's going to fit.
Right. Yeah, I see the 1 1/16 and one, the different measurements on them, 1.5 by 30. All right, I'll have him look at this. He just injured his hand this weekend, and the mouse is not, a computer mouse is not. I said, you know what? I'll see what I can figure out. I'll find an expert to call.
Yeah.
So, and I saw you on a video for, I don't remember what hinge. I'm like, oh, I'm not sure that's the right application for what I'm doing, but you seem like the guy to contact. So, all right, we'll look at the piano hinges then. Very good.
Yeah. I think that'd be a great way to go. Super inexpensive. It's going to do everything you want it to do, and I'd like to sell you the other hinges, and frankly, I would use those, but I would probably not because of the weight load that will be placed directly on it, and it probably won't be a problem now or today. But I'm fearful in 5 or 10 or 20 years when you go to sell the house, you've got this issue that you now can't easily solve.
Right.
So,
And if the piano hinge starts to, I don't know, warp or not work right, it would just be easy to replace it.
That's not going to happen with a piano hinge. You have no fear of that.
Then you know what? I think whatever was on there when we got the house was not maybe a piano hinge. I wish I knew what it was, but whatever it wasn't working, and we wound up, the whole thing went into a dumpster and he started fresh. So
I believe it was a piano hinge because it looks like there's evidence of screw holes in the sidewall of your pictures, and only a piano hinge would really leave you with that sort of evidence.
Oh, okay. All righty. Well, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Be sure to let me know how it turns out.
I will. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
All right.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.